Hello, and today we'll continue with Temptations Ballad. Walton Red's Alley. After sneaking out of the city Watts prison, Cole led his two new companions across the city of Walton Red's Alley. A seedy and lawless area, Walton Red's Alley was rife with shady individuals and underground activities. Needless to say, Morrow took his son here for frequent visits on the weekends. I beg your pardon? Are you saying that your father takes you to this unlawful corner of the city for fun? That's so utterly irresponsible. It's a pretty good time. One of my favorite gay bars is a few blocks from here. Things get pretty rowdy on No Pants Friday. No pants? Well, what kind of bars are you going to, boss? The gay ones. More importantly, Clyde's little business is around here too. Exactly what kind of business does this Clyde character conduct? He's really fun. Clyde's an old buddy of mine. He wants an underground fighting arena that Papa frequents whenever he gets the urge to kick the shit out of someone. I get kind of bored when Papa drags me there, though, so I usually hang and chill with Clyde in his office. Among other things. Anyway, Clyde's an active seller in the city's black market, too. People go to his ring to gamble on fights and check out his wares. That little street urchin thief was probably planning to pawn that crown, and I was stealing arcane crystals to Clyde for some quick money. Cole led the group towards a worn building in the corner of the alley. There was a thick wooden door with a small closed slot near the top. Likely users observe visitors. Some splatterings of orange and black paint marked the entrance like the stripes of a tiger. Muffled yells and thundering crashes echoed from within the building. Boss, are you sure this is a good idea? This place is kind of creeping me out. Yeah, you're right. We can't just stroll into Clyde's den for a pleasant chit-chat. They probably won't let us in for no reason. The ring is either for fighters or people betting on fights. And we don't have any money for bets or black money browsing either. We're gonna need a plan. Waterby suddenly walked past them and cheerfully knocked on the thick wooden doors. Greetings, is Sir Clyde available? I'm looking for the whereabouts of a missing crown. She and Cole frantically dragged her off to the side and around the corner. Are you insane? You can't just go announce yourself like that. I don't understand. Are we not approaching your friend Clyde in search of the crown? Cole groaned and rubbed his temples impatiently. Yeah, but not like this. Some subterfuge is in order. You mean lying? That's most dishonorable, Sir Cole. Okay, listen here, little knight. I may be real friendly with Clyde, but he's still a businessman in the Walton Red's Alley. Is every man for himself out here. He's not just gonna hand over a jewel crown worth thousands of gold just because we ask nicely. That's not how the world works. There was suddenly a clunk at the door as the wooden slot slid open. A pair of sharp, predatory eyes peered around the alley suspiciously. Hello? I sort of heard someone. Cole groaned and buried his face in his hands. It's now or never. Thinking quickly, he grabbed his two companions and dragged them into view of the door. Hey, buddy, how's it going? The eyes in the door slot blinked in surprise before snapping closed. The door suddenly swung open to reveal a tall, grinning tiger. Well, if it isn't my little coleslaw. How you doing, buddy? Cole yelled as the large feline grabbed him in a headlock and roughly tousled his hair. Hey, let me go. You messed up my hair. You know you love it. Your hair's always been a mess. Anyway, it's handsomely disheveled. It's a secret to my charm. Ew. Clyde let the small hyena go and gave his ass a firm smack as he retreated. I see your daddy ain't here this time, little coleslaw. As much as I love hanging out with you, I got a business to run. You're not here to fight or check out my wares. I'm afraid I can't let you in, buddy. Of course I'm here for business, Clyde. Let me introduce you to my new adventuring party. This is Sid and Orderby, my new lackeys. Greetings, Sir Clyde. It is a pleasure to meet you. Clyde looked taken aback as Orderby bowed deeply. Now I know something ain't right. What's a polite lass like you doing with someone like my little coleslaw? Please stop calling me that. Clyde suddenly twirled Cole around and gave his other butt cheek another firm smack. What's the matter, buddy? I'm embarrassing you in front of your new friends. Now I'm more afraid that you're gonna scare them off. I'm always happy to hang out with you, but like I said before, today's a business day. Sid's face flushed pink as he stared at the two glowing handprints on Cole's barely concealed ass. Wow. You're really friendly with Boss. No need to feel jealous, big guy. I know for a fact that little coleslaw likes being stared. Wait, what do you mean by that? Cole cleared his throat loudly. Anyway, I'm taking my two lackeys to your fighting wing to test their mettle against your fighters. Gotta make sure they can kick ass before I take them onto real missions. So what do you say? Mind if we come in and brawl for a few rounds? Oh. Intrigued, Clyde glanced up and down at Sid and Orderby. These two? Well, my wings are always happy to welcome fresh meat. This will really get the audience riled up and their bets rolling. Are you sure they're ready to meet my contenders, though? We don't pull our punches around here. Sid glanced between his two companions while shuffling nervously. Well, worry not, friend. Whatever the challenge, I'm ready to face it head on. I swear upon my honor as a knight. My. You may be a bunch of greenhorns, but you got guts. I dig it. Well, if you've made up your minds, then follow me into my little underground fight ring. Clyde beckoned the three of them inside the warm building with her wing. Cole grumbled and followed him inside while doing his best to ignore his stinging butt cheeks. You really need to stop being such a tease when I'm around other folks. You know you love it. I know you said today's a business before pleasure kind of day, but are you sure I can't convince you to join me in my office for a bit? I'm sure your friends can take care of themselves for a little while. We'll see. As the two of them disappeared inside, Sid nudged Orderby and whispered with a red face. That was weird, right? The way those two acted with each other. Orderby blinked blankly. I'm afraid I do not have much experience with social interactions. Was that not how close male friends cadet familiarity amongst themselves? I don't have any friends either, but I'm pretty sure they don't casually smack each other's asses. Sid shook his head furiously. Why in the world was he feeling so flustered? You know what? Never mind. Let's hurry up and go inside. The building's interior was cold and unkempt, its dark stone walls dimly lit by flickering candlelight. As Clyde led the three of them down a narrow corridor, muffled sounds of fighting men and a roaring crowd echoed through the walls. Clyde watched the newcomers' nervous faces with a grin. Well, folks, welcome to my fighting ring. The place was filled to the brim with a crowd of surrounding the ring, whooping and hollering at two lords' heavily bruised men exchanging fierce blows. Scantily clad waiters served out trays of beer and mead, while judges collected bets from the excited audience. The entire crowd screamed as one of the fighters brutally grabbed his opponent by the throat. In so still strength, the fighter lifted his opponent off the floor and tossed him into a brick wall with a sickening crunch. As the other man groaned and struggled to pick himself up, pick himself off the ground, the fighter raised a victorious fist in the air, prompting the crowd to burst in uproarious applause. Sid watched the tired exchange and gulped nervously. Whoa, this is kind of hardcore. If you think this is rough, you should see my papa in the ring. That's when things get really good. It doesn't appear these fighters adhere to proper sparring etiquette. Had I pulled a trick like that in the cathedral, Her Excellency would have surely locked me up in confinement for days. Locked you in confinement? What kind of weird church training did they put you through? Huh? Worry not, friends. It was just simple discipline. Surely many families do the same for their children. No. I think the worst my mom was done was force me to wash all the dishes in our tavern for a couple of days. And then he felt bad and we ended up washing them together. Cold scoff. Papa's never had to discipline me as a kid because I never get caught. Y'all need to stop being so honest with your parents. Sir Cole, I simply cannot condone your deceptive methods. That sounds like the words of a sucker to me. By now the cheering and hollering from the rambunctious crowd died down. People were carrying the fallen contender out of the ring while they were preparing for the next match. The victor of the last fight was downing a tankard of beer when he suddenly caught sight of Cole and his companions near the entrance. His eyes narrowed dangerously. The lost man quickly approached them, the crowd parting at his wake nervously. Cole the Bonebreaker, why are you here? His voice was low and quiet, but it reverberated off the stone walls of the fighting ring in a dangerous rumble. This is not a schoolyard. The fighting ring is a place for the strong to test their tenacity against worthy opponents. You may be chummy with Clyde, but you cannot simply waltz in here for a visit whenever you please. Cowards are not welcome here. Despite the serious size difference between Cole and the huge man standing over him, Cole stood tall and unfazed. Good to see you too, Val. I see you haven't changed much since our last visit. A deep growl rumbled from the large crocodile's throat as he glared down at Cole. Hey. Cool it, Val. I let Cole in because he's actually participating in the fights this time around. I know you got beats with the little guy, but keep the drama out of the way. Alright? Val raised a surprised eyebrow. You, fighting in the ring? Well, now, I brought my two new lackeys here for a bit of battle practice. They'll be fighting for me. Cole turned to Artemis and said, Guys, meet the fighting ring's top contender and Clyde's business partner. This is Val. Hi. Greetings, Sir Val. We are honored by the opportunity to spar with such a strong opponent. Val's eyes narrowed at Cole with bitter disgust. As expected, constantly manipulating others to fight your battles, always hiding behind your father's success. You are a weak and feeble coward, called the Bonebreaker. Everything you own, your connections, your success, all given to you on a silver platter by your father. You are nothing but a leech. Your new companions would do well to be wary of you. A tense silence hung in the air. Barnaby and Sid exchanged nervous glances awkwardly. Sir Cole? Oh, you are... Cole suddenly broke the silence with a hearty laugh. Yep, your local immoral leech, Cole the Bonebreaker, at your service. Cole bowed and grinned. What are you going to do about it? Val glared at Cole for several long moments before turning to leave. Disgusting. You are a waste of my time. Cole's smile faded into an unsettling frown as he watched the large crocodile disappear into the crowd. Clyde leaned over and gave Cole's hair a gentle ruffle. Sorry, folks. Val can be a little confrontational sometimes. Don't let him get to you. But I'm used to it by now. Clyde turned towards Barnaby and said apologetically, that was my business partner, Val. He's the best fighter around, and he helps me out with some of my market business as well. Clyde was surprisingly more cooperative when you got a 7-foot tall croc on your side. I swear he's a pretty nice guy under all that gruffness, though. Cole cleared his throat. Now that we got the introductions out of the way, do you mind if I take my lackeys to a changing room or something? Sure thing, the coleslaw. The rooms are down the hall to your left. You know where they are. Cole nodded and marched through the crowd, gesturing for his two lackeys to follow. The Fighting Wings changing rooms turned out to be unused storage rooms that had just enough space for a handful of people. Barnaby and Sid struggled to squeeze between the barrels of supplies as Cole plopped down comfortably on a nearby crate. Alright folks, now that we're here, let's hatch a plan before stepping into anything messy. Our goal is to search for this missing crowd, but it looks like we'll have to participate in the fighting wing if we want to stay here. Cole turned to Sid with a grin. Well, buddy, you said you wanted an exciting day, and now you're gonna get it. It'll be your job to fight in the ring for us. But what, me? I mean, I'll definitely give it a shot. I must object. The crowd's missing due to my own mistakes. It is only right that I fight instead. Listen, Dottie. The fights here are hand-to-hand combat with no weapons or armor allowed. You got any experience with that in your knighthood training? No. Alright, I'll hinge my bets on a big buff guy instead. You're a holy knight, right? Sid's probably gonna take a beating or two. You patch him up with some healing magic or something in between the fights. I see, then there's a duty I wholly accept. You don't think everyone here is as hardcore as that Val guy, do you? Most of them are pretty wimpy, to be honest. Probably can usually beat them to a pulp with one hand. And you don't have to worry about fighting Val. He only goes after the toughest guys. Hey, I can be pretty tough. Huh, sure you can. Anyway, while you guys are making a scene in the fighting ring, I'm going to sneak around the building to find that missing crown. I'm pretty familiar with this place, so it shouldn't be too difficult. But what if you are caught by someone who works here, like Sir Clyde? Cole shrugged. We're good buddies, so I don't expect to get worked up or anything. This might even work to our advantage. Cole snapped his fingers. A burst of violet light erupted from his fingertips like blossoming flowers. I have this spell called Charm Person. It's a really weak spell that can be easily resisted if the person sees it coming. If I cast it while his guard is down, I can charm Clyde into showing me where the crown is. Better yet, just force him to give it to me. People usually forget what happened after the charm wears off, so I should be safe. Theoretically, at least. If that doesn't work, I'll just run around a corner and cast disguised self on myself to look like one of his coworkers. That should make escaping easier. Wow, boss, you sure know a lot of illusionary spells. This is so cool. I've never worked with a talented magic user like you before. You're gonna make a great team, huh? Her blushed and tried to hide a small smile. Thanks. I usually don't get to talk about this cause all my spells are used for tricking people. This is kinda nice. Order me, his expression suddenly serious. By the way, don't tell anyone I'm a magic user, okay? My papa's a real old-fashioned magic hater, so Orderby nodded solemnly. Worry not. Cole turned towards Orderby, his expression suddenly serious. By the way, don't tell anyone I'm a magic user, okay? My papa's a real old-fashioned magic hater, so Orderby nodded solemnly. Worry not, Sir Cole. You have my silence. But it would but would it not be better to come clean to your father? Surely an honest relationship will allow you to perform your future mercenary duties more easily. Yeah, you even said earlier that he wouldn't even be that man. A little disappointment early on is better than a lifetime of bottling up a lie, right? Cole sighed and his shoulders slumped heavily. You don't understand. I don't want to disappoint Papa, but that's not entirely why I keep my mouth shut. He leaned backwards and stared at the ceiling wearily. Val was right earlier, you know. Sir Cole, do not let that rude man's words get to you. It's true, though. The mercenary company that I'll inherit is my father's, just like everything else I own in my life. But this, Cole snapped his fingers, a few sparks of magic flashed between them. This is mine. I may be a little weak and spineless, but I want to hold on to this just a little longer. The crowd was just as loud and rambunctious when Cole accompanied the two of them towards the ring. Sid chewed on his thumb nervously as all eyes trained on him like predators to a first piece of meat. Sure, he was a pretty big and tough guy, but was he ready for something like this? Hey, Cole, is a guy ready for his first match? Sid jumped when he felt Cole place a comforting hand on his shoulder. He's got a little stage fright, but Sid's gonna be crushing everyone once things get heated. Just watch. The crowd murmured doubtfully at Cole's bold proclamation. Several of the other fighters looked downright offended. I'm looking forward to seeing that. You got a few moments to get ready before your first match starts. May the best fighter win. Sid glanced towards the ring. It looked like his opponent was a large bear whose chest was littered with bruises and scars. He wasn't as big or thickly muscled as Val, but that didn't make him any less intimidating. The bear caught Sid staring at him and shot him a vicious grin. Fresh meat, huh? I look forward to breaking you into the ring, kid. Sid shuddered and ducked behind his two companions. Boss, are you sure that I'm up for this? I mean, you did say I was a greenhorn and not ready for big stuff earlier today, and you're not chickening out on us, are you? Well, chickening out is a strong term. I prefer being strategically cautious. Cole suddenly leaned dangerously close to him. A thumb gently slid under his chin, causing Sid to look directly into Cole's eyes as he winked. Come on, man. You're the lackey of Cody Bonebreaker. You got what it takes to crush everyone here, if you wanted to. Now get out there and show them what you're made of. I don't know, boss. Maybe. Sid's brain fully sat down for a moment as Cole leaned in and planted a firm kiss on his cheek. He stood frozen, his mouth agape and face slowly flushed a horrific shade of pink. Well, what was that? A spark of magic suddenly snapped him out of his stupor. Sid felt a warmth slowly spread from where Cole smoothed him. It was like a hot bath enveloped his body in a comforting hug. His senses sharpened, his muscles twitched with strength he didn't know he had. Sid gulped and readjusted his glasses in utter confusion. What was that? Was that a spell? Cole winked again. It gives people a little boost to morale and abilities. Feels pretty good, eh? It's temporary, though, so use it well. But was the kiss part of the spell? Maybe. Does it matter? It matters to me. Cole waved his hand dismissively as he nudged Sid through the crowd. No more chickening out. Get in there and kick some ass. Sid was left spluttering, utterly dumbfounded as Cole pushed him into the fighting ring. People were starting to place bets on the victor of this fight as the crowd congregated near the gambling table. A large pile of gold was slowly growing on the side of the bear Sid was about to face, but not a single person placed a bet on Sid himself. Sid glanced at his empty, non-existent betting pile, and his ears drooped in dejection. It made sense that no one would take their chances on an unknown newcomer, but the crowd suddenly parted as Cole swaggered towards the gambling table and tossed a massive pile of gold coins onto Sid's side. Soft murmurs of disbelief spread throughout the audience. All that gold on a newbie, he doesn't even look that tough. Get ready to lose all your gold, kid. I'll simply saying the same thing to you. Cole sneered. After this round is over, I'll think I'll be a whole lot richer. Cole watched the whole gambling exchange from his position in the fighting ring. He felt his heart thump at the sight of Cole spilling so much money into his betting pile. Adrenaline pumped through his being as he took a deep breath and stepped forward into the ring. Boss is really taking a chance on me. I gotta do a good job. Just watch, I'll crush the competition. A judge blew a whistle, signaling that the fight was about to start. Artemis and Cole settled down in their seats along with the rest of the crowd. Well, Sir Cole, you must have much confidence in Sir Sid to wager such wealth on his performance. He is lucky to have such a supportive leader. Cole, who was sipping a tankard of mead, nearly spat it out with a snort. Huh? Nah, that pile of gold is all a minor illusion. If Sid loses this match, get ready to run. I beg your pardon? Fighters, get ready. 3, 2, 1. Begin. A shrill whistle echoed through the stone room. Sid immediately raised his fist and crouched into a fighting stance. Magic from Cole's brought inspiration simmered through his veins and muscles like static electricity. All Sid's senses felt oddly sharp and focused. His opponent, the scarred bear, dove at him with a ferocious snarl, but to him it almost appeared as though he moved in slow motion. Sid dodged the bear's jabs and punches and then retaliated with one of his own. The bear stumbled backwards with a fierce blow to the jaw, an opening. He charged forward and slammed into the larger man's abdomen. With a massive heat, Sid grabbed the bear by his torso and lifted him into the air. His opponent flailed and yelled helplessly as Sid leaned backward sharply and slammed the bear into the ground with a brutal thud. Sid scrambled onto his feet, panting breathlessly as he stared at the groaning body of his opponent. The bear weakly tapped the stone floors thrice. A surrender. The first round was over without Sid even taking a single hit. Sid stood over the prone bear, panting heavily as he came out of his adrenaline-induced daze. The crowd was stunned. Even Cole's jaws hung open in shock. In the back of the crowd, a lone orderly clapped politely through the silence with a smile. "Wonderful job, sir," Sid. "Your show of strength is truly impressive." Sid flushed pink and scratched his head bashfully from the center of the ring. "Uh-huh. Thanks. Did you see that, boss? I hope I did you proud, huh?" "Oh, yeah, you sure did." Cole was busy running towards the gambler's table and mixing together the piles of gold to hide his fading illusions. Most of the crowd was too distracted, mumbling bitterly to themselves to notice the gold pile was significantly smaller. Bah, beginners get all the luck. Or maybe we were just good. Anyway, thanks for all the money, folks. Orderly grimaced as Cole carried back a large stack of gold to their table with a giddy grin. "Even if this whole crown business doesn't work out, at least I have some loot to bring back." "No worries, Nighty. I'll be sure to split some with you and Sid too." "So, Cole, I cannot condone your dishonesty here. All this money was won through deception. Perhaps it would be better if we returned it." "What? Return to these gamblers in this illegal fighting ring with a city black market in the back rooms?" "None of this money was honest to begin with. We're just taking it back and putting it to good use." Artemis frowned deepened as he stared into the large sack of coins. "I suppose this still does not sit well with me." She looked up with a determined glare. "As you say, this whole establishment is quite illegal. Perhaps I should alert the knights of the church to this place and forego this entire fighting ring business to begin with." Cole's body stilled as he stared into Artemis' intense gaze. "Maybe you could. Of course, a small army of knights approaching would alert everyone here right away. There are hiding holes and escape tunnels everywhere in this place. The moment trouble arises, everyone here will grab their money, goods, and treasures and flee in every direction. Your knights can't catch them. Your knights can't catch them all, and then you can kiss your missing crown goodbye." He took a step forward and placed the sack of gold into her hesitant hands. "Or you can stick with us to quietly recover your crown with a chance of success. What will you choose?" Artemis gripped the coin sack tightly and sat back now with a sigh. "When you put it that way, I suppose this is the correct course of action. Still," Cole patted her head with a sympathetic smile. "Listen, I get it. You're a good person. I'm kind of scummy, and this place has got bad vibes. But the world ain't exactly black and white with clean answers. When you've been out here as long as I have, you learn that you gotta bend a few rules to get the job done." Artemis fiddled with the edge of the coin sack, her brow furrowed uncomfortably. "Perhaps it is true that I do not have much experience with the world outside the church district. I will look to your experience on these difficult matters, Sir Cole." Their conversation was interrupted by Sid rushing excited through the crowd to their table with sweat still dripping from his temple. "Miss Knight, boss, did you see that fight I was just in? I can't believe I beat that big guy. What do you think? Am I a decent addition to your adventuring party?" Sid being between the two of them, his tail wagging furiously. "Well done, Sir Sid. I admit I'm quite surprised. You are a very adept fighter for someone of your background. For real though. Not bad for your first fight, Sid. I knew I saw something great in you behind that buff chest of yours." A pink tit flushed across Sid's face as he scratched his head bashfully. "Oh, sucks. Thanks for taking a gamble on me, boss. I might not be the smartest guy out there, but if you're looking for someone big to fight your battles, I'm your guy." Keep up that enthusiasm. You got a long day ahead of you. Cole stood up from the table and tossed a sack of coins into a surprised Artemis' scrambling hands. Looks like it's time for me to start sneaking around for that crown. Natty, you handle all the bets from here on. Keep participating in matches and keep everyone distracted. What? Wait, Sir Cole, you chose him unwisely. I do not have any experience with money. He left. Another whistle echoed through the large room to signal the start of another match. Artemis felt utterly dumbfounded as Sid dragged her to the bidding table along with the rest of the audience. Gamblers jeered at each other as they began tossing in their bets. Piles of gold coins were beginning to build up on both sides of the table this time around. Artemis gulped and fumbled through her sack of coins nervously. Don't worry, Miss Knight. I'm sure I can take on whatever fighter they throw at me from here. Feel free to bet whatever you think is best. Perhaps 5 copper? Maybe that is too miserly. 5 silver then? Would that be too bold? Alright, 4 silver it is. A gruff gambler standing next to her snarled in disbelief, sending spit flying everywhere. What kind of weak bets are you making here, lassie? This is a fucking fighting ring, not your grandma's bingo night. Go gold or go home. In her panic, Artemis grabbed a fistful of gold, and hastily tossed it onto the table. Oh no, my apologies, Sir Sid. Perhaps I'm not a good partner for this. I hope you are not discouraged. Don't sweat it. In fact, I'm super pumped ever since the first fight. I've always felt useless at all my previous jobs and work, but here, I never felt more alive. Screw that scribe apprenticeship. It's like I was born for the battlefield. Just watch and relax. Sid let out an overjoyed howl of excitement before dashing back into the ring. Artemis couldn't help but watch him go with a smile. He certainly is an enthusiastic fellow. It is a nice change of pace. Everyone back in the church district acts so reserved. The judge blew shrilly on his whistle again. As the crowd made their way back to their seats, a single cloaked individual peered curiously at Artemis. Their gaze trained to her quietly as she retreated. The reservoir is here. This complicates things. The roars and hollers of the crowd were muffled as they rumbled through the back hallways of the building. Cole tiptoed quietly through several rooms, poking his head through the many cells of Clyde's stock. There were plenty of trinkets, assorted arcane crystals, stolen keys, and other things street urchins often pilfer from unknowing city folk. A few rarer treasures were stored in the back, likely bought from adventurers after they returned from their journeys. There was no sign of this obsidian crown that Artemis described, though. Cole tapped his chin curiously as he closed the door behind him. The crown sounded pretty valuable. Maybe Clyde was keeping it on his person. Hey, who's back there? This place is off limits for guests. Cole grinned at the sound of the familiar voice and stuck his head out to meet a surprised Clyde. Yo. Clyde's suspicions immediately melted into a mischievous chuckle. Well, if it ain't my little coleslaw. What are you doing back here? Were you planning on hanging out with me in my office? Maybe later. I did say today was a business day. Cole jabbed a finger at a small handful of arcane crystals by a crate. A city little urchin boy stole these off me earlier today. You mind if I buy them back? What? Those cheap things? Here, I give them back for free, or maybe in exchange for a good time with my favorite buddy. Clyde's paw caressed down Cole's back and ended with a firm squeeze on his ass. Cole chuckled. Sounds like a good deal to me. I'm surprised you're feeling so generous today. You're usually just a hard ass with your deals. Clyde hummed cheerfully as he pulled Cole close. His hips flushed with the little hyena's butt as he rested his chin on the top of his head. Cole flushed slightly as he felt grabby hands snake down his front and fiddle with his loincloth. No, focus. It's business first today. Those are pretty low quality arcane crystals, man. Any spell that's stored inside them ain't gonna last more than a day. Cole blinked and glanced up at the snuggling tiger furiously. Huh? What do you mean? Oh wait, I forgot your pops is basically a caveman when it comes to magic. Basically, these arcane crystals store spells inside them to function. For example, the ones that are used to drive caravans and wagons are charged with an animate object spell. Other crystals that are used for stuff like cooling buildings or on hot summer days are charged with spells like Ray of Frost. Technology is amazing nowadays. Wait, you're telling me that people can cool their homes down in the summer with magic? They are suffering through all those dank and sweaty days in our living quarters for nothing? Clyde chuckled and shrugged. Like I said, your father's quite the caravan. It's quite the caveman when it comes to magic. I could never figure out why he's so against it. Cole groaned and buried his face in his hands. That's the story of my life, right there. He sighed with defeat. Alrighty, that's enough small talk. It was time to focus on his task. Cole's eyes narrowed as he carefully planned his next words. Speaking of Papa, I'm here to do a little gift shopping for him. Homebreakers have been earning a pretty penny from all the new adventuring jobs lately, and I was thinking of getting him something nice. Ooh, well, I'm always happy for more business. What can I get for your coleslaw? Papa's pretty fond of over-the-top and gaudy things, despite how he acts. Maybe some jewelry, or something fancy like a cape or a crown. Well, fancy that. I just got my hands on a rather spectacular crown today. Unfortunately, it's already been booked by several high-class buyers. The offers are at a price not even the son of Mark Bonebreaker can afford. Damn, already? Didn't you say you just got this crown today? Who exactly are these speed shoppers? I'm afraid I can't tell you, coleslaw. Customer confidentiality and all that jazz. These buyers send middlemen to handle their purchases, so it's not like I know who they are anyway. No, and I guess I gotta give up on this crown and settle on buying Papa a cape or something. I'm sure we got plenty in our inventory to satisfy them all. Speaking of satisfying, do you want to come to my office to discuss your payment for those arcane crystals? Cole let out a small yelp as Clyde suddenly thrust it forward, pressed his bows tightly against the hyena's rump. Took you long enough. Lead the way, Clyde. The tiger laughed and scooped up the hyena in his arms before prancing cheerfully down the hall. This is why you're my favorite visitor. Clyde was purring like a giddy child ready to open an enticing present as he carried Cole bridal style into his office. The room was thankfully empty of other people, occupied only by the dim, flickering candles on the walls. Cole laughed and nuzzled into Clyde's warm, fuzzy neck. Jeez, someone sure is excited. I just miss spending some quality time with my little coleslaw. The tiger gently tossed him onto the couch and pinned him down on the soft cushions with a grin. Cole could feel his soft, warm breath tickle his face as he peered up at the hungry tiger. It was a familiar sensation. The two of them had been together before countless times. Still, Cole couldn't help but shiver in delight at the sensation of Clyde's clawed hands lightly caressing his chest as he leaned forward. Obviously, gonna have to skip this scene because YouTube, but you want to see this lewd scene here, you're free to see it for yourself by downloading the game. But anyway, So we'll continue with Temptations Ballad next time. So Sid is way stronger than even he thought he was. Like, he easily took out that big bear guy. And I don't think the bear even landed a punch or anything. He just beat him easily and clean. I mean, he looks like a nerd, with the glasses, but he's actually dumb. I mean, he's not like smart or intelligent like a nerd. He just looks like a nerd, but he's not really that smart. He's like somebody meant for brute force. Like, he's meant to be physical in whatever he does in life. Like he's not really an intellectual or think with his mind or anything like that, or like clerical jobs. He's just somebody who's meant to fight, and his strong body is better suited for that. Just you use your body to fight and to protect others and all that. And Cole, Ormby, he's learning that not everything is black and white or good and evil. Like, you gotta do. There's a lot of gray area, like Cole said, and apparently she's been cooped up in the church district her whole life, and she never got out of the church district, so she doesn't know what life is like outside of it. And she doesn't know how to deal with money when when Cole had her settle the bets. She doesn't know how to use money, so there's a huge disconnect between her and the rest of the kingdom and Axia, the city. She's been cooped up in the church district and sheltered from everything that's been happening because she is the creator's chosen. Instead, he's like a street person. I mean, yeah, he's the son of a legendary mercenary, moral bone breaker, but he's also very street smart, or street wise, or whatever term it is. But he knows how things work in the city, and I think Ormby can learn from Cole about how the rest of the city is. Because it's not like what people in the church have been telling her. I mean, there's some things, that are not purely good or evil, So, yeah, hopefully they get the crown so Ormby can take it to the prince. So, that's all for now. In the next video, you'll see kind of like the aftermath of that, that scene. I mean, we're not playing it, but you'll see the aftermath of it. But anyway, thank you all very much for watching. Goodbye.